Hello, my little conspiracy. My name is Insane Raven, and welcome back to Tales of the Hunt, the bi weekly podcast where we go through and talk about platinum trophies, the journey it took us to get us there, and just talk about games in general. My name is Insane Raven, and today we are talking about Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the sequel to the Ezio trilogy, within the Ezio trilogy, and easily both the most unneeded game in probably the entire Assassin's Creed series, but also in parts the most influential for a good run of the game. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, when it first came out on PS3, was the first game to introduce multiplayer, a staple that would hang on for quite a few games, all the way up to Unity in some aspects. It would also bring in the actual Assassin's Creed Brotherhood maintenance and above the ground tactician stuff that honestly really helped shape the series going forward in the department of these side activities. Now, the game itself is almost forgettable. It feels just like another Assassin's Creed game, and that's part of the reason why Brotherhood gets a lot of the flack in this series. Well, yes, and added a couple of things here and there to give it a bit more life. It definitely feels like a continuation of Ezio, because that's really what it is. It's an unneeded continuation of Ezio, but it does feel like it was doing some stuff a bit more interestingly. And unfortunately, with there being so many Assassin's Creed games so rapidly, this one, as well as Revelations, fall through this kind of awkward cracks, as it were, of just kind of being another Assassin's Creed game. Up until, especially with the fact that 2 was so good, Brotherhood kind of stays in Italy with Roma. It doesn't even it definitely stays in Italy. And then Revelations going and spreading its wings a bit more, Brotherhood constantly feels like the most unnecessary one, which is a shame because of all these side things that it does add that does do its job pretty well. Obviously, it's done by Ubisoft once again, who, falling off the wagon at this point with Ubisoft and their NFT bullshit, as well as just not creating games with female characters because they quote-unquote don't sell well, and double the animations, because those are real things that heads at Ubisoft have said at one point. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the Ezio trilogy, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Platinum Trophy. I'm specifying this one because on the PS3, where this game originally took place, there were multiplayer trophies. A good chunk of them I didn't really want to do again. So I said, fuck it, we'll just jump up to the PS4. It's also how I ended up redoing Assassin's Creed 2, thanks to a friend accidentally playing it and then popping a trophy, which then made it mandatory. But with the Brotherhood and Revelations, for those episodes of Tales of the Hunt, I'll be exclusively talking about the Ezio trilogy edition of those games, which remove the whole multiplayer side of it, even though it is probably one of the more unique multiplayer add-ons to a single player experience you can really get out there. And it's a shame that just because it was added to a single player game, it didn't get more love. Even though I do like the mode, I do feel like it's unnecessary, especially when they then added things in 3, like Wolfpack, which made the multiplayer aspect 100% unnecessary, because then you could go online and just play Wolfpack by yourself and get it all done that way, which is again another shame and another casualty of the multiplayer aspect. I wish it would have been fleshed out a bit more. I wish people would have gravitated towards it, but without that kind of drive to keep that section of the mode going, there really isn't any reason to go back to the PS3 versions of these games and just kind of stress yourself out, as it were. But let's actually talk about what the Ezio trilogy of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I gotta stop saying that because it's so long, trophies actually inquire. Because gone are the multiplayer trophies, but in are some of the DLC trophies that would have been optional in the first time around, now become mandatory. In this edition, our trophy hunt starts out with technical difficulties, attempts to access DNA sequence 9 for the first time. This is essentially your you put the game in, congratulations trophy. It is the beginning of the plot of the game, and with the Ezio trilogy version, it is the only thing that you can do at the start of this game. So, moving on. Battle Wounds. Complete DNA sequence number 1. Again, more campaign stuff. Sanctuary. Find a secure place to hide and re-enter the Animus. Again, more campaign stuff. Those 3 are basically just watching some cutscenes, interacting with your side characters, Sean and Rebecca, and just kind of moving on through your game. Your wish is granted. Throw money in a well. That's going to be your first actual gameplay trophy if you're playing like me and just looking around for wells and things to do. I remember that I actually did this hunt back in 2020, about 2 years ago. Little bit under 2 years ago, and I actually did it as a part of a challenge I had joined up called the ABCs of Platinum Hunting. And the challenge was pretty simple. Get platinum trophies for every single letter in the alphabet, starting with A all the way up to Z. 26 platinums, more than doable. And I had 2020, I think, was such... I don't even think. 2020 was such a whirlwind of a year for me. And of course, obviously, the world. I had signed up to be a summer camp counselor that was going to take me away from pretty much everything for a while. And by the time I had started doing the ABC challenge, I was in the running for this thing, and turns out I had gotten it. So I had dropped the competition. Just for 2 weeks later, the global pandemic of Corona came in, shut everything down, and had already told the people in the competition that I was putting it down, that I had canceled my thing. So with this trophy hunt, as I'm kind of talking about it, I did pretty much go the most aggressive way possible, looking up what kind of trophies there were and trying to hit as many of them as quickly as possible, because I was in a race. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward. After your first 3 trophies of Sanctuary, Battle Wounds, and technical difficulties, that a lot of these trophies were done in the mindset of gotta get this done, which, doesn't create some of the most lasting memories, but definitely creates an interesting kind of backdrop of the stage of this game, especially with Brotherhood being, again, so unnecessary as a game. I would actually argue, when we do talk about it, that Assassin's Creed Revelations is the much better game. Actually, I think I've already talked about Revelations, because all these Assassin's Creed games just start to blur together. Revelations is 100% the better game out of the Ezio trilogy. 2 is great, but Revelations is easily the best one in my humble opinion. It gives an actual definitive finality to everything, and it's just so brilliant. I'm actually going to go look right now as I'm talking to you guys to see if I had talked about Revelations on the channel before, because that is what is necessary. Alright, let's go back and look. I'm pretty sure I did. Didn't I do it? Yeah. I talked about it last month on Prognophobia month. How could I forget? Alright, because I did 8 games at once. Right. Revelation is 100% the better game. Like, go listen to that podcast if you actually want to hear more put together thoughts, college has started back up and I am frazzled. So I'm very sorry about that. You're also going to be getting, as we're kind of like taking a side note, a pit stop, as it were, you're also going to be getting the last episode that was supposed to come out but didn't because it got frazzled, is going to be uploaded as well later today as well. As soon as this video is out, you'll get that one as well. Very sorry for that, and hopefully you can forgive me as we go forward and I try to re-grapple with my time management skills because it did not work out last time. Alright, but back to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Where are we? We are at Mailer Daemon, which is for accessing your email in 2012. All you have to do here, bounce out, access your email, you got the trophy, bounce back in by quitting the game, by exiting the ominous? How do you say that? I'm not sure. But there you go. Then you have all the wonderful trophies in this game that regard to the shrines and in regard to the Leonardo da Vinci fuckery that is the weapons of mass destruction in this game, which is absolutely awful. I lost so many brain cells doing this fucking mission. Not this mission, but some of the missions I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But Golden Boy, discover the shrine of Teme de Traiano. Keep in mind, you do have to do 100% synchronization in every single mission you do. All of the side missions, all of the main missions, all of the Leonardo da Vinci missions, you gotta do them, and it's awesome. And when I say awesome, I mean it's awful. Grand Theft Dressage: steal 5 horses from their riders while remaining on horseback. Ride your horse next to someone on their horse. It'll give you an option. Push the button. You do it. You got it done. Do it 5 times, and you are good to go. Perfect Recall. Achieve 100% synchronization in any sequence other than sequence 1. Which, I know what you're thinking. Raven, you haven't talked about any other sequence yet. Well, yes I have, because that is immediately followed by Roman Ruins, which is for completing DNA sequence 2. There you go. Very, very, very easy. Dust to Dust. Find 1 artifact in 2012. You're going to be kicked out of the Animus a number of times. I still can't say that word right. And this is the part of the game that does the most interactivity outside of the Animus and inside of it. You definitely hop back and forth between the two fairly well. Whereas Revelations, you'll go even deeper into the code, deeper into the Animus, go deeper into the sci-fi. This brings you out of it a bit more. It's like, hey, kind of explore the 2012 version of this. Explore what this would have looked like, doing that kind of stuff. And it does become interesting. And there are a couple of collectibles here and there. You don't have to find many of them. I'd argue, I think you only have to find the one, Dust to Dust, and then you're fine. But my memory isn't serving me all that well as we go forward. Undertaker 2.0, discover the shrine in the Catacombs de Roma. There's another shrine one. Home improvement to renovate 5 buildings in the Antico district, which just a matter of upgrading your base, similar to how you did the Cristo in the Mounts. The Villa de Auditore in the first game, in the second game too. Going up, kill a guard with a bag that drops from a lift. This is actually pretty simple, even though it sounds complicated. What you need to do is just get a whole bunch of people after you, and then just go for it. Run straight after your lift, and if they're close enough behind you, should get squished by it, and it'll pop you a trophy. Fixer Upper, complete DNA sequence 3. Brotherhood, recruit 3 assassins. This is where you start talking about, the actual Brotherhood and the management sim stuff that I was talking about earlier. This is where you start doing the leveling ups and all the actually really fun and really interesting things that this game has to offer. The only reason why you should play this game otherwise. But then again, because we're talking about the Ezio Trilogy version, we have to talk about the GPS trophy, which is for completing the Da Vinci disappearance sequence. This is basically a collection of side missions that you get that go into the whole, you go to a waypoint and it starts talking about how one of the villains have kidnapped Da Vinci and a bunch of his paintings. And you go through some shrines, very Tomb Raider, Uncharted-esque at points. And it turned out to be pretty interesting. I am glad, actually, that I had to play the Da Vinci Disappearance. And I didn't do this on the PS3 version, because had I done that, I would have just missed it. And some of the more interesting parkour elements occur in the Da Vinci Disappearance. So it's worth doing. Destroy the machine gun. Bang is the trophy name. Not that bad, not that hard. Going ahead and doing it will get you a common 60.7% trophy. The Principessa in Another Castillo for completing DNA Sequence 5. I know my Italian is bullshit and that pronunciation was awful, but the princess is in another castle. Another Mario reference, similar to how the first game in the Ezio trilogy, which is the second game in the Assassin's Creed series. Do you see why this gets confusing now? Did the "It's a me" Mario reference. So at this point, you would just think that's just something that Assassin's Creed's gonna do, is keep referencing the Italian plumber in some way. But I don't actually remember if there was one in Revelations. Boom! Destroy the bomber. Pretty easy. Kaboom! Destroy the tank. Fuck that mission. The tank mission is the one thing that took me so much time. Because, again, not only do you have to do the mission, but you have to do it perfectly. This is the worst fucking thing. Okay? But the tank requirement missions require you to do it without getting any damage to the tank before you blow it up. Because apparently, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood thinks that you need to have an item in pristine condition so you can go blow it up. It is awful and I hated it. I hated every part of this mission and it took me so fucking long. But yeah, there you go. Deja vu, replay a memory. I'm done. I'm done talking about the tank mission. The tank mission was awful. If there was ever a reason, I've been talking about how this game is forgettable and it's unnecessary. If you need a reason to avoid this fucking game, kaboom. The fucking tank mission is dog shit. Oh my god, I hate that mission. Where are we? Splash. Destroy the naval cannon. It's another Da Vinci Weapons of Mass Destruction mission. It's not a big deal. The gloves come off. Win the highest bet at the fights. This just requires you to keep doing the fights until you get higher and higher bet amounts. You do this by winning bets. And by putting the biggest bet on yourself, you're able to win. Gladiator. Discover the shrine in Il Colosseo. Another shrine trophy. There you go. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Train a recruit up to the rank of Brotherhood. This is something that's just going to give you extra cash, extra materials and that kind of stuff. Not a big deal. High roller. Win 10,000 florins playing Hazard. Just want to look and... yeah, it's a dice game. I don't remember this whatsoever. And I wish I did. Because... I don't know. I don't even remember. It was frustrating. I remember the tank mission though. So, show off, complete 10 guild challenges. I'm pretty sure I did this by... yep, I did the Thieves Guild missions, which was, easy. I think I did the majority of them without even realizing it. Fundraiser, complete a DNA sequence of 5. Complete DNA sequence 5. I don't know why I added of there. That's odd. Airstrike, I can't read this morning apparently. Kill 10 guards with a single arrow storm. You need to recruit 5 different assassins, 5 different recruits to your order to make this even possible. I highly recommend getting more. pretty much maxing out your thing, going to one of the more populated districts. I did mine by rocking up a giant fight during a campaign mission where I have to defend Bartholomew, and basically, as everyone was around me, just lit them up with my Assassin's Brotherhood ability and just let it rain. I also then had to restart the mission because I wasn't allowed to take any damage in that, and having to call an arrow storm in the middle of a war is pretty guaranteed to get you to take some damage, if not by all the arrows flying around, because you can't get damaged by your own abilities, but by someone who just hasn't quite gotten hit yet by an arrow and just taps you on the noggin, causing you to lose for synchronization. I forgot the word for a second. Serial killer. Perform an execution streak of 10. This is when you start getting a combo up ridiculously. Again, I did it back at the gates in the mission with Bartholomew. This is just getting your combo up, countering properly, executing your moves, and getting that one-hit kill streaks going up in a row. It is going to take some time. It is going to take some patience, but it's just a matter of knowing what your placements are, knowing what your moves are. You should be fine. In Memoriam, collect all the feathers. There are so many less feathers this time around. There are only 10. There are not 100. There are 10. A proper good amount for a collectible. 10. Looking at you, Assassin's Creed 2, you bastard. Forget Paris. Complete DNA sequence 6. Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed would like to forget Paris. Tower offense. Burn all Bulgaria towers. I still can't read that. Spring cleaning. Kill a guard with a broom. I'm not joking. And no, this isn't in 2012. Like I had originally thought for a while. This is in the middle of Rome. There are horses around, and there are fun stuffs around. Basically, you have to go in unarmed, pick up a broom, and then beat the shit out of someone with it. Find the horses. They have brooms. One-man wrecking crew discover a shrine in Palazzo Latrano. No big deal. Special delivery, double assassinate from a parachute. Clowning around, beat up 5 thirsty Harlequins. This is another of the DLC trophies. The Harlequins are super easy to miss because they're just clowns dancing around water. Funny enough, Rooster Teeth actually has a guide on where these Harlequins are. And it's actually the guide that I used back when, Rooster Teeth was still doing trophy hunting guides, which is kind of awesome, actually, to think that I was able to use, at that point, an 8-year-old guide to come through. Just fun. Easy come, easy go. Pay 500 florins to an orator, and then pickpocket him afterwards. So these are the guys that are yelling on the street corners about your crimes, and paying them off is going to be a really quick way to decrease your notoriety by 50%. And then you can go ahead and pickpocket him. So it literally doesn't mean anything. Kind of makes the whole thing hollow, doesn't it? Perfectionist. Earn 3 gold medals in the Animus virtual training program. Again, I wish I had memories of this because I do not. I do not remember going for this whatsoever, which probably means it's pretty easy. Good luck! Plumber. Discover the shrine in Glaucom Maxima. Another shrine trophy. Strong arm. Throw a long weapon, heavy weapon, and smoke bomb more than 10 meters at a guard, because that is a long title. Yeah, I kind of just did it on the rooftops. On the rooftops overlooking the castles by my hideouts. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Bloody Sunday, complete DNA sequence 7. Amen. Discover the shrine in the Basila de San Pietro. Now, there are a bunch of these a bunch of these shrines won't actually become available until you progress some in the story. So don't be too upset if you can't solve it right away. You're not meant to. You're not gonna get access to these things right away. It takes some time. Fly like an eagle. Jump with the parachute off the top of Castillo Sant'Angelo. Another one of those trophies that you just have to take some time in getting the materials before you jump off. It is super tall. You will have people shooting at you, and it's just not a good time, but you can do it, and the view is breathtaking if you're into that. Now, I don't have the title for this one because it's just a bunch of dots and dashes, but it's for solving all of Subject 16's puzzles, which is, not a bad time, especially doing it before Revelations, and you're going to see how that whole story actually plays out. It's kind of interesting. Alright, this one is just straight up in Italian, and I'm sorry for that. Vittoro Agli Assassini. For completing DNA sequence 8. What was that? I'm sorry. What was that cat in pace? What was that the pace? I can't speak Italian. I can barely speak English, and you want me to speak Italian? Ugh. It's days like this that make me regret having a podcast. But it's for completing DNA sequence 9. Knife to the heart, and darling, you're to blame. This is a plot point. I'm not gonna tell you. But, yeah. El Principe. Complete 100% sync in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and full sync in all the missions in the Da Vinci Disappearance. This is gonna be one of the harder trophies. Just because it is so involved and it is so frustrating at points, but there you go. Capture the flag. Remove all Borgia flags in Rome. There are 101 flags. A lot of these are going to require you to do some pretty extensive parkour, very much like the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2. The flags have then taken their position as the dominant fuck you collectible in the Assassin's Creed franchise, with there being just one more of them in the feathers. But that then got me the trophy Julius Caesar, which once you go through and start collecting the flags, they'll start appearing on your map as you kind of go through. There are also a number of helpful guides online that you can check, but if you don't want to use those, which I totally understand, there are checklists and just places you can go through the settings to your collectibles notifications in the game that you can kind of start to see which areas, which districts you need to hyper focus on. But yes, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, done in 2020 and pretty forgettable if I'm honest. I did enjoy the game. I enjoyed all the extra little bonuses. I enjoyed the Da Vinci Disappearance with the extra splunking and tombs and stuff. But all in all, it's not... With Revelations, I felt like you have to play this game. Like, if you liked number 2, you have to play Revelations. I don't really have that feeling here with Brotherhood. It kind of just feels like a meh. And I know at this point I've created almost a tradition of saving Assassin's Creed games for October in our phobia months. But two things. One, I don't know if I could ever reasonably fit Brotherhood into a phobia. I just don't. I don't think there's anything unique enough about Brotherhood to be like, oh, this is my justification. I just don't think it's there, if I'm honest. But also, too, I've already planned out this phobia month. I'm working on the games that I'm doing for this phobia month right now. For 2022 phobia month, I'm already planning my stuff. So, don't be alarmed. You will get a phobia month this month, as always. You just won't have an Assassin's Creed game in it, because this phobia month doesn't work with it. And that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say as a little teaser, as a little like, hey, what do you think it could be, type thing. That's it. So, thank you guys for listening. I will see you guys in hopefully an hour as I get this next episode out to you. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.